I'm Brian Tregesser at ProSem Direct. What we're looking at behind us is the start of a little sale. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually do a mobile sale. We're just getting ready to haul out the merchandise. We're going to take a pan around here in a few minutes and show you the merchandise. But basically I'm starting out with a 24-foot truck. Now the sale we're going to be running is kind of at a community center. All right, one of these type deals. We're looking at 3,000 to 4,000 square foot. We're going to run this sale on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday we're going to have an auction. So on Sunday we're going to run from noon until 6 or 7 at night. On Monday we're going to do the same thing. Then Tuesday we're actually going to have a live auction and we're going to gut the facility. All right, so I'm starting out, we bought about $3,000 worth of merchandise, which is basically one truck to get us going. Okay, to do these type of sales, this is an excellent opportunity. Now, the neat part about what we're going to do here is we're actually going to run the same type of scenario for the next 3 weeks. So I'm going to have a sale in this facility for the next 3 weeks, okay? What that does is brings me in to customer. I already have a customer base from people already attending the sale. Will automatically bring in their friends. They'll come back to the next sale and it'll multiply its way out. By doing this type of sale, we can look to generate anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 out a week, okay? Now, if we do it for 3 weeks and we do on the low end, that's $45,000, and we're probably going to have no more than $15,000 invested into this deal. Let's say we go to the extreme. Let's say we got $20,000 invested into the whole deal by the time we're done with it. I still would walk out with $25,000 profit, all right? I ran a sale. I did not have to go out and find do anything crazy. Okay, we got this up and running in less than 2 weeks. All right, it's a very nice facility. It works very well. The amount of advertising we did for the primarily first week sale is we did an email blast. Okay, we did some ads in some of the local publications. We did a bunch of handout flyers. All right. The community center put out some advertising itself in order to promote it because I'm giving them back a percentage of the sale, kind of to make it like a little fundraiser for them also. So they're going to make some money. By doing that, they gave me a break on the rent, okay, because I'm kicking them back in some money. That way everybody wins. All right, to do these type of operations, to do this type of sales, you can do them all the time. As a matter of fact, this is our second one we're launching this week. I've done as many as 17 of these at one time. I have 17 different sales running around at the same time. These little sales are dynamite. Okay, you bring in tons of people. They're very quick. They're easy to get going. We're just going to use a 26-foot U-Haul to move the merchandise. All right. I usually do about 2 truckloads of merchandise per sale. So 2 truckloads will actually fill up the facility. All right. Then I'll have another truck sitting there full of stuff in case I need it. By generating out this kind of money, by doing the auction, we're guaranteed funds every week, which we bring in a crowd every single week. And by doing it for multiple weeks, all right, it's an excellent opportunity. Okay, you don't have to go jump all over the place. Your place is already situated. I'm doing my advertising basically. I'm encompassing all 3 weeks, so I'm doing a sale that's basically going to take in parts of all 3 weeks when I'm doing my ads and my publications, my flyers and everything else. I'm letting everybody know that I'm going to be there for 3 weeks. And I'm doing a Tuesday night auction, which is relatively easy to do, and it's going to be a small amount of stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, at the end of that auction, somewhere probably around $10,000. A lot of times $10,000 for a quick night. Okay, and I'm running these sales with just a few people. You're doing these sales with less than 5 people total. Okay? These are an excellent opportunity, and if it goes to the other side where it goes up to $60,000, which I've seen them do that, okay, it's a great money-making opportunity. What we're going to do is I'm going to pan out and let's just show you some more merchandise, okay? Then, next, we're going to actually go to the facility, okay? You're going to see the way the sale lays out, all right? You're going to be able to watch how the sale progresses, and you're going to be able to learn from the whole thing. Thank you for watching this. In a few minutes, we'll pan through some of this merchandise. Thank you. Okay, we're looking at some of the merchandise that we're going to be taking out to this sale that we're going to be running at this community center. To get going off of your feet, I put this whole sale together, in all honesty, for under $5,000. Okay, all the advertising, the haul rental, and to bring in my first truck, everything that I did to launch this first sale for the next 3 weeks was done under $5,000. Okay, probably around $4,000 by the time I paid for the truck, got the trucking in and everything else, and all my advertising and the haul. All right. From that point, I'm going to take a $5,000 investment and turn it into $50,000 in less than 1 month. And I'm going to walk out at the end of the day, even if I only make 20 grand on the whole thing, which I will easily make 20 grand. I've done enough of these. This is a great opportunity for you to get started. It's a great opportunity. It's not that hard to do, okay? If you pick up on all the points, if you watch how the merchandise is being presented, okay, and if you go to the website and learn from our scenarios, from all the lessons that we give you, and exactly where to buy merchandise and how much money to pay for it, you'll be in an excellent position to start making money. All right, from here we're going to go right to the community center, and we're going to show you what that looks like when it starts to be set up. Thank you. Okay, we're downtown and we're getting ready to have a sale this morning, and we're going to do it at this little community center. And we're looking at about 3,000 square foot, and we took about 2 hours with 3 people to set up this facility. Generally, we're going to run here for 3 days. We're going to do 2 sales, about 5 or 6 hour sale. And then Tuesday night, we're actually going to run a live auction here. I'm going to pan around a little bit and show you a little bit more of the merchandise that we brought in for this sale. Okay, we're taking a look at some more product that we're going to be selling. We brought in a bunch of vanities and a bunch of patio. And this sale is going to actually start in about 45 minutes. So we'll get, everything was lined up, and we're basically just going to go through. And we didn't pre-price anything. So we're basically going to do a lot of bundling and so on and so forth, and these sales are pretty easy to get up and running. And we're looking at about, to fill this facility was about 2 24-foot U-Haul trucks. And we're looking at some more merchandise that we brought in. We did bring in a bunch of patio furniture. We do have some small appliances, household furniture. We do have some couches, chairs, so on and so forth. And this type of merchandise sells very well at these little sales. Once again, we're looking at some merchandise that we brought into this sale. And this little haul for one of these type of sales works very well. And you usually can get these very reasonable. A little community hall, Knights of Columbus, recreational type facility, little banquet hall. Are very easy to rent. And all you need to do is have a nice location, and this hall looks excellent, so the merchandise really presents itself well. Okay, we're getting ready to run the sale. Okay, it took us like a couple of hours to set up this facility. The facility looks excellent. And we started out this sale with about 1 tractor trailer load of merchandise. It's easy enough to get up and running. I'll pan out and we'll see a little bit more of the sale as it's progressing. Okay, we're back at the studio, and I want to run through some stuff with you real quick because we've got this sale going on at the community center, and we've been watching the film from it, and we've got it set up. And I want to go over and want to lay out some parameters of how the sale got started, how much money we invested, and so on and so forth about advertising. All right, get you a little bit of feel for when you get started in these type of parameters, what you can do. Okay, that sale, the community center sale, which is an absolutely gorgeous facility, and we're looking at some pictures of it right here, right now. We started out with 2 truckloads of merchandise for this sale, okay? 1 Home Depot load with some appliances on it, vanities on it, and small items, seasonal stuff, okay? You can buy that category from Georgia, you can get it from Indiana, you can get it from Arizona, all right? We also included a load of patio furniture. Now the deal with me right now, what was happening is patio furniture was absolutely very cheap. So I did 2 truckloads to start this sale off with, okay, initially. We ran a couple days. Tomorrow we're going to have a little auction there. Now you don't have to do it that way, all right? You could keep the sale running for a week, but we have to get out of the facility. They've got a dance studio thing comes in during the week. So I'm running this sale on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday I'm running an auction. Tuesday night I'm going to clean the facility. We reload the facility back up. We run again on a Sunday, a Monday, and a Tuesday. We're going to do that for 3 weeks. Our initial advertisement when we kicked off this whole program was about $500. They had a little community paper. We did an ad in there. We did a bunch of flyers that the guys went out and handed out.
The community center did some advertising themselves because we're kicking back a little bit of the portion of the profits and so on and so forth with them, allowing them to make money. Take a look real quick on these absolutely gorgeous vanities. You can see them in here. Vanities like this we're selling for around $150 to $200 a pop, and they're coming in our Home Depot load. This one sold yesterday, I think it was $160 as far as it went. Okay, you're going to get merchandise like that all the time in your loads. All right, this facility set up gorgeous, and we do a little table of smalls and so on and so forth. We're always going to utilize that smalls when we're running our auction. Now, what if you didn't want to run an auction? Okay, so let's say you didn't have to run an auction. Okay, we have to get out of the facility. How can you engage that? How can you entertain that in different platforms? All right. One way you could do this is I would run the sale for like 4 or 5 days. Probably start on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Maybe right into a Sunday. Okay. Usually the beginning of the week. If you're going to run a longer sale, I usually use Monday and Tuesday for my setup times to get the facilities ready and to go. Then I will run my sale later on in the week. All right, I could do a special like 50% off towards the end of the week or 75% off discount, or I could run a facility like this for a number of weeks. I've ran them for as long as 16 weeks without any problem. Okay. What's going to happen here when you start out with 2 truckloads, and that's what we did here. We started out with basically 2 truckloads of merchandise. And what happens always, I don't care, I've been doing this for over 20 years. What always happens is at the end of the sale, I always have merchandise left. It doesn't matter because I start out with a couple trucks. I'm going to bring in some more trucks. And at the end of the sale, I always have merchandise left, which I usually jump it into my next sale. That's what I do, is I rotate it forward into the next sale. I'm going to show you another sale that we got going on right now in a few seconds here, so you kind of got an idea what happens when you get merchandise. Look at this vanity. Absolutely stunningly gorgeous marble top. It's got the medicine cabinet on the bottom, white. That vanity retail probably over $500. That brand new vanity came in one of our Home Depot loads. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I just want to take a second and show you that. Now, let's get back into some numbers about what we've been doing here. A sale like this on opening day was usually it's between $1,000 and $3,000 for the day. Now I started out with a $5,000 investment. All right. So normally, you know, it's a $1,500 day or $2,000 day, which is what it was, I believe, yesterday. Okay. Today we'll run again. We'll do another $1,000, $1,500, maybe $2,000. Then I run the auction. At the end of the auction, I do $7,000 to $10,000 on my initial $5,000 investment. Okay. I roll that right back over. I usually buy more trucks and I keep going. But this is the way you kind of get going in your business. This gives you a good example of how you can get started. All right. If you are an auctioneer, this is a prime example of how you can run some sales and then do some auctions on the side. If you're not an auctioneer, which I'm not saying you have to be an auctioneer to run these kind of sales, okay? You don't have to be. Or the other side about it is you could bring in an auctioneer and he could auction off the stuff for you if you wanted to at the end. All right. We have some furniture loaded up into this sale too. This is some stuff that we had left over from one of our other sales. So in other words, I am moving merchandise forward from one sale to another. And at the end of it, I'll just give you a quick story. There was one time in my building I was sitting on over $200,000 worth of inventory that was paid for because I was buying trucks, regularly buying trucks, and we had 200 to 300 pallets of merchandise that was paid for that was sitting in the warehouse. All right, so I didn't buy any merchandise for the next 6 months. I just kept running out sales and getting rid of my inventory, but that was almost all 100% profit without my operating costs. I didn't have to buy inventory. And a lot of times that's what's happening. Take a look at this patio stuff. This is absolutely stunningly gorgeous. This stuff is coming in the loads, all right? So this patio load has the anti-gravity chairs in it. It had the patio tables. You've seen some of the umbrellas and so on and so forth. This is an excellent opportunity, a good way for you to get going in your business, all right? Starting out for around $5,000, you could actually start one of these sales up for a couple $1,000s. All right, you'll get your building, start out with one truck, all right, $400, $500, $600 worth of advertising and get yourself up and running. Okay, it's not that tough. All right, we're going to jump to a tent sale because I've got a tent sale running on right now. I just want to show you some pictures of a tent sale real quick so you kind of get an idea what type of different scenarios you can do. I'll be right back. Okay, let's take a look, because at the same time I'm doing this community center sale, we've got a tent sale, great big tent sale going out. We've got a nice road out here. We're doing this one out in, it's kind of a rural area, but the main road they got going by their facility out here is about 10,000 cars. 10,000 cars going by here a day. So this makes an excellent opportunity to set up a sale, okay? And the type of sale that you can kind of do, they didn't have a very big facility, they have a little facility, all right? So we had a tent to give us this ambiance. Now look, we set all the lawn furniture, this pretty beautiful patio stuff up on the front lawn, okay? This tent is a, we're doing a 20, the tent's a 20 by 30, a tent's a 20 by 40. So we're doing an 800 square foot tent as far as that goes, all right? The tent's gorgeous. It's a nice looking tent. We put up all of our nice smalls in there. We did our small appliances and so on and so forth. And here's a case where we've got our big sign out. The sign cost me about $100. We just put it right up out on by the road as far as that goes. So that's some natural advertising we've done. Once again, we started out this sale with a $5,000 investment in merchandise. We're going to run this sale for 3 weeks. All right. This sale's already generated out in a couple days. It's close to $4,000. Okay. These type of sales, these type of scenarios, do very well for you. All right. They keep the public engaged all the time. They keep the people coming back into your facility as far as it goes. And what happens when you're running these type of sales is word of mouth carries. So what happens, our first day, I think we had 25 or maybe 50 customers out. The next day we had like 100 customers. Everybody's telling each other about what we've got for sale, okay? And what we'll do with this facility, usually, is when we're running something like this, is we keep bringing back in trucks all the time. So we're running a 26 foot, we're basically utilizing a U-Haul here, all right? So we have a place where we're knocking down the furniture, we're getting it ready to go, we're cleaning it all up because stuff does not come out like this. A lot of this stuff comes out in boxes and so on and so on. We take it out of the box. These chairs are not put together, okay? So we put this stuff together because it naturally will sell better put together, okay? I don't want to be in a scenario when I'm running like this, okay, where I want merchandise to look best as possible. That's the easiest way to sell it. It's the way that people want to buy it. And as you can see, we set this tent up right on somebody's front lawn. Okay, the owner of the building, this is his front lawn, so we set that up. We have a parking lot right here, and his building is right next door. We have about 1,000 square foot bay that we're utilizing in the building. We have merchandise set up in there also. Inside the tent, we have a lot of the vanities, we have plumbing supplies, so on and so forth, because a lot of that stuff we do not want to be setting outside. This sale, the way we're running it, is we're pretty much opened all the time. They're just opening up the tent. Now, yesterday was an unadvertised day, okay? It was just it was a weekend, it was a Sunday. Our sales have been advertised and we're running them on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But they're there anyway. So what they did is they said, well, we're going to open up the tent. Let's open up everything and let's sell. So yesterday being a Sunday, they sold $900,000 worth of stuff out of the tent yesterday, and in theory we were not even scheduled to be open. Okay, but since they're there, we're running it. We got the traffic coming down the road and everything else. We want these facilities to run all the time. If you can possibly do that, especially in these parameters where you've got all this traffic coming down the road. Once again, this sale will run for 3 weeks. At the end of this thing, we're also going to do an auction here and get rid of all the merchandise. Okay? So these are kind of a couple different scenarios that I can give you for running different types of sales. Now, we got both of these things running at the same time. Okay? So if I'm running those kind of sales, what can I see to be generating out of two of these facilities in a week? All right. Well, generally I'm running an auction, so my auctions are going to do at least 10 grand, no problem. All right. I'm running two walk-through sales. Okay. So between the two sales, we're probably going to generate somewhere in the $20,000 range. So if you're running this as an auctioneer, or if you're running this as just doing this as a business, okay, you don't have to be an auctioneer, but just to do this, we can look out at two of these little facilities, which took nothing to get set up, to do close to $100,000 in a month. Let's say you don't get that good. You're not that big, you're not that proficient, everything else. Let's say you do $50,000 in a month between the two of them, which is still an excellent opportunity. Unbelievable for a business that's just starting up. $50,000 a month. If you run this all year long, okay, you're going to be looking at a $600,000 business. There's no business that start up tomorrow and be able to do that kind of money. If you do not want to do that, let's say you don't want to get that involved in it. You say you run one of these a month. You still walk out at the end of the month with at least $5,000 in profit. Okay, if you do just one of these every month, okay, at the end of the year, you're going to make $60,000. That's more money than some people make in a business. I mean, in a job. A lot of people don't make 60 grand working in their job. All right? And that's an excellent small business for somebody. 5 grand a month. That's a great opportunity. Okay, we're going to show you some more of the sales as they're progressing. Okay? I'm going to show you some more of the banquet hall sale, which is the one we've been setting up. All right. The tent sale, I just wanted to show you this because we're running them both at the same time to give you some different options of what you can do. All right. As you can see, these aren't that hard to do. A lot of them, it's prep work. Okay. You got to get the loads in. You got to go through the merchandise as far as it goes. You got to get it cleaned up. You got to get it ready for the sales. Like I said before, my guys go through the merchandise. They clean up the van. The vanities come in. They're in boxes. We take them out of the boxes. All right. We make sure the tops are not chipped up or anything else. If something needs to be, once in a while, a board needs to be put back on. Okay. So that this merchandise will sell out there. Like I said, all these little chairs had to be put together. The umbrellas, we come in and we check them. We make sure that they're functional. Because sometimes when you're doing these loads, you are going to get damaged product in. All right. But it doesn't mean it's got to be all thrown away. All right. Sometimes you get these chairs in and you got to put a screw in them, you know, or a bolt. They're missing a bolt. Sometimes they're missing some of the threading on the chairs. Okay, so you got to get. But some of this stuff, as far as it goes, when it comes out of the boxes, is absolutely gorgeous. All right. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything needs to be worked, but this stuff still has to come out. And you see how I set it up. I set it up with the same color. I set it up in nice little settings. As far as it goes, because remember we were telling you before, merchandising makes you money. You always want to merchandise, right? Because that's going to bring you in more and more money all the time. These places, this place is absolutely gorgeous. And all we had to do is bring in the merchandise and get set up. Here's a little tile top table, patio set as far as that goes. Here's some of those Adirondack chairs. Once again, we had to put them together, but I put 4 white ones together because most people want to buy this stuff in sets. Here's the vanities. We've got them all lined up, so when people walk up, they can kind of go through them and choose out which one they want, right? These sales are not that hard to do. I'm doing both of these sales with newbies. People have never done these before, okay? They're kind of in training. They want to get going as far as it goes. They're friends of mine, and I told them I would help them out and get them started up in their sales as far as that goes. So we're helping these guys out. Plus we're filming, so we wanted to be able to do this. These vanities that came in from Home Depot are gorgeous. That stuff will sell no problem, all right? Merchandise is out there all the time, remember? When you go on the wholesale side, you can find all kinds of stuff. A lot of this other stuff you can buy and segregate it into your sales, all right? So in other words, sometimes you buy small pallets of tools and bring them in. We bought some of the big pallets of airsoft guns, went through that stuff and interjected that into our sale. So we can mix other stuff into the sale to bring in some more ambiance and to bring in some more variety, right? Okay, let's take a break from here now. We're going to go back to the sale a little later on, and we're going to show you some more of what's happening with that sale. Thank you.
Okay, we're taking a look at some of the more merchandise that we brought in for today's sale. There's a bunch of patio we're going to do. We have a bunch of vanities in and so on and so forth from the Home Depot loads. We're going to scan some more items. Let's check out some more of the items that we brought in. There's another idea. We brought in some small appliances. We've got fans and microwaves. Once again, fire pits, anti-gravity chairs. Some of this patio furniture absolutely sells gorgeous. This is just absolutely beautiful merchandise that's coming in out of the loads at this time. This is an absolutely gorgeous teal set. You've got the love seat, the bench, the couple of anti-gravity chairs, all matching. We're actually going to sell this as a set tonight. We're getting set up right now for a small auction we're going to run, and we're going to do about 250 lots out of here, and it's going to take about 2.5 hours to do this sale. And we did bring in some housewares products. We've got some furniture and so on and so forth, small appliances. It just works well when you're mixing this type of merchandise in with the rest of the merchandise that we brought in. All these items have a tendency to sell very well. Let's take a look at a couple of these gorgeous vanities over here. Alright, let's take a look at a couple of these absolutely gorgeous vanities that we're going to be selling tonight. In this Home Depot load, we had a number of these nice 48 inchers and these nice beautiful 24s. A lot of times we offer this stuff up with the mirrors because it just makes a better selling point. But these vanities and so on and so forth will sell no problem at the auction tonight. Alright, we're taking a look at some small appliances right now. We've got some under-the-counter microwaves, some of them small refrigerators, wine chillers. All that merchandise came in the loads. There's another really nice patio set. We've got the tile table and the 2 side chairs. We've got a number of those came in a load. We're going to sell a bunch of that stuff tonight at the auction. There's some really nice patio again. We've got the glider, a little love seat, a couple matching chairs. We've got the anti-gravity. We did 1 load of patio furniture and Home Depot, tubs, toilets, sinks, and so on and so forth. We also have some tools in here, some furniture. When this kind of variety works very well when you're doing these sales. It's no problem at all in setting it up, and the stuff looks great when you're looking at a little banquet center like this. Yeah, it's a nice facility, and we're looking at probably about 3,000 to 5,000 square foot, and it took us just a couple of hours to set this whole thing up. So these facilities work excellent when you're doing these type of sales. Okay, we're looking at some more patio furniture that came into the load. Some wicker stuff, some resin wicker. We got some more vanities. Let's take a look over here and see some of the tools that we are going to be offering. Okay, we're looking at our table smalls. We got some Craftsman, some Makita. We're doing some Hitachi. All right, we always want to utilize some smalls to get the auction rolling in the right direction. Use these to engage your crowd and get your people used to the auction and allow them to feel comfortable with the bidding process. Okay, and we have a small area set up for our office as far as it goes, and we're using Auction Flex software. We're going to run 2 computers, and basically 2 people should be enough to handle this type of a sale without any problem. Once again, these are self-contained, similar to a laptop. We used to run a lot of laptops, but we're doing the all-in-ones. With Auction Flex, we're basically renting that software. That's a monthly contract. It's about $80 a month, all right? And at $80 a month, I think we can hook up to as many as 4 computers off of it. Okay? Let's take a pan through. We'll take a look at some more merchandise and as the sale progresses. Okay, we're getting ready to set up for our sale. We took about 2 hours to finalize for the auction. We ran a 2-day sale. Basically, we're running this facility on a Sunday and a Monday. On Tuesday, we came in this Tuesday morning around 11 o'clock. We basically set the whole facility for the auction. We're going to run an auction tonight and clean this facility. We're looking at about a 3,000 square foot banquet type center. When you're setting up merchandise in a setting like this, it looks absolutely gorgeous because it's a nice suspended ceiling. You got fluorescent lighting in here. You got nice painted up walls. Everything looks very, very you can't get merchandise to look any better when you're utilizing this type of a setting, okay? And these are very easy to do. I think we're looking at, we set this facility up with 4 26-foot U-Hauls. We have a couple people, basically, when you're looking at maybe 4 total people, helped unload the trucks and set up the whole place. We unload the trucks and we set stuff right in place, right where we want it to go. That's the easiest way to do. Then move stuff around and rearrange it a little bit. Most of the time when you're setting product up, you want it to be set in a setting. So you want a couple chairs with a couch. We've done anti-gravity chairs and loungers with love seats, all matching colors. So even if it's not sold in a store in that type of a set, at the auction or in a sale setting, we can offer it up as a set. A couple matching tables, a couple matching side tables, and a couple matching chairs, and we set that stuff up in a little set just like you would see it in a furniture store. This facility, you can find these little facilities all over the place. These are not that hard to do as far as it goes. We brought in most of the product through a set of double doors. You've been watching the product as we've been going through the video, so the quality of the product is excellent. Don't forget, when you buy in these loads, you're going to have to work the merchandise before you bring it into the sale. So in other words, some of the patio stuff had to be put together. It does not come out all assembled like this. You're going to find it brand new in the boxes, and you have to pre-assemble it before you bring it into a sale setting. That way it will sell better. It's always got to be set up so it looks better. Remember, merchandising makes you money. So when you're going through one of these little sales like this, and you're just getting started, all right, you can look at maybe 1 tractor trailer or a couple tractor trailer loads to get going. We're going to run this sale for the next 3 weeks. So basically we're going to do a 2-day walk-through sale each week, and then every Tuesday for the next 3 weeks we're going to run a live auction. All right, we're going to pan through some of the merchandise now and give you a little bit better idea of the quality of the merchandise that came in for this sale. Okay, this is just a recap, and we're kind of just going to go over the sale that we were running, the auction, and the little 2-day sale. So we want to kind of go over that real quick, recap what happened there with that whole scenario. We had the auction on a Tuesday night. We had about 80 people show up for the sale. I don't consider that a great turnout, but it was not that bad, all right, for the first time that we did this facility. I'm sure that this will pick up. The next auction will probably have over 100. I'm assuming we'll have well over 100 people in attendance. But the people who did show up at the auction for that facility, they spent very well. So we're looking at an auction and a 2-day sale before we get done with the whole thing. We're into the $15,000 range. Okay, we got about $5,000 initial investment in merchandise. I got about $2,000 in operating costs to run the sale. So now you're looking at about a $5,000 gross profit on that deal. If I was running 2 of those a week, which right now we are running 2 of those, I'm running one out in the country at 10 sale, but I'm not doing an auction with it every week. But let's say I was running 2 facilities where I was running auctions each week, or I was doing bi-weekly auctions, so I'm doing an auction every couple weeks. Okay, in the pretense of this facility, you're looking at $15,000 a week. If I did it, and this event's going on for 3 weeks, so we're looking at a possibility of $45,000 worth of sales there for the month. Not only is it $45,000 worth of sales, but to recap on it back, when you move it back into pretense, it's $5,000 gross revenue, or gross profit on the deal. Okay. So in 3 weeks' time, that's a $15,000 hit gross profit. All right. Probably my guess, operating costs. I don't know what you're costing you to run your facility, but my guess it could probably, even if it took half of that, which I don't think you would be running that high of an expense, you're looking at $7,500 net. All right, which gives you a net profit for about the end of the year of somewhere around $100,000 net profit for the year. Okay, that's good money. That's a lot more money than a lot of people are making it a job. And this, to run one of these facilities, to get one up and running, it's, you know, this is an easy scenario. Okay. I like to do them when you're doing the walkthrough, you're doing the sale. Okay, so you get more people in, you generate it out, and I like to run it from week to week to week. So in other words, or to take one of these facilities like this, it'd be nothing to set it up and run it
over a 3-month period or a 6-month period. So I'm in there once a month doing this type of a sale. The other thing I could do, I could run in here and I could set this thing up and run it as a auction. I don't have to necessarily run it as a walkthrough sale. If I just came in and ran it as an auction, the possibility here is around a $10,000 to $15,000 sale. I don't see any reason why you could not do that kind of a number with the amount of merchandise we had in there. We're looking at 300 lots, okay? Most of our lots, nice big vanities, power tools, you're looking at patio furniture. You're looking for items that are going to be selling for anywhere from probably somewhere between $30 and $100 per item. So if you do a net revenue or a net item sales of $40 an item and you do 300 lots, okay, that gives you a $12,000 sale at the end of the day. All right. If you're just starting out and you're young, or if you're just looking for extra revenue for your auction company, or the other pretense is to start this up. If you're not auctioneers and you just want to run one of these facilities, okay, this gives you an excellent opportunity. The one we're running out in the country, we're not running a sale. We're not running a weekly auction, all right? That sale out there is run 1 week and it's did about $7,000 out in a week, all right? We're going to run that one for 3 weeks and then we're going to run an auction. So if we run it out for 3 weeks, we're looking at $21,000 in sales, and then we're looking at a $15,000 to $20,000 auction. So once again, we're looking in the $40,000 range for the month. Okay, that's good money. I don't care where you go. That's excellent revenue to be coming in. Once again, we're looking at this sale. We're looking at a gross revenue, or gross profit of at least $5,000 a week for 3 weeks, a $15,000 commission. For me to do a $15,000 commission, gross commission, 2 to 1, I would have to go out and get an auction in somewhere in the neighborhood of $150,000 to $200,000 industrial sale. If I was doing real estate, because real estate most of the time is 7%, some cases it's auctioned for 5 or 3%, all right? Let's say you're auctioning real estate at 5% commission. 5% commission. You got to take out your expenses to run and everything else. You're looking at probably a $400,000 piece of real estate or $300,000 piece of real estate to get yourself into a $15,000 hit for the month. That's a lot of that real estate's hard to find out there. Just to run out and try to find a $300,000 piece of real estate. If you're not an active real estate agent and you don't have all of the property locked up, all right? These are excellent opportunities. They get you up and running, all right? They're easy to do. This facility was a piece of cake to find, all right? To get loaded in and so on and so forth was very, very easy. The property looks excellent, the banquet hall, tile floor, suspended ceilings, everything's painted, it's got wainscoting on it, fluorescent lighting. Facility looks beautiful. Nice restrooms. They even had a little kitchen in there and they were doing some sausages and some sandwiches and so on and so forth in there themselves and selling some of that stuff off, which worked great for us as far as that goes. You gotta go on ProSem Direct, get started today, build yourself a little company, build yourself a business. This is a pretense of a large company, all right? To be honest with you, there was months when I was doing $500,000 to $1 million worth of this stuff a month, okay? So when you're doing those kind of numbers, the volume is a lot bigger. The auctions, a lot of cases when we were pushing it out there, was not unusual for me to do a big one of these big sales, but you're not going to do one of these sales like that out of a 2,800 square foot facility. But I have had sales that did $125,000 in one day out of my 40,000 square foot facilities. Okay, that's a lot of money. That's good revenue. I walk out at the end of the day with $50,000 gross profit on one of those deals. All right, I'm Brian Tregesser from ProSem Direct, and I'll see you on the side of money. Thank you.